Well, good morning, Mike Carson.
Good morning. How are you? How is everybody out
I am spectacular.
there? Wow. Starting off with the dad jokes.
I'm ready to elevate the industry this morning.
We gotta say it right.
Yeah.
Kurt's saying
How
it.
you doing?
How you doing? We gotta do our thing, man.
How you doing?
Good morning, Joe. How are you? And Adam. Always count on these guys showing up every
Right.
Our three listeners for the entire day are already here.
It works.
How about that?
It works. Yeah, I've got my fairly new glasses on. My wife was telling me, she said I need glasses, and I'm just like, I don't need glasses. And she goes, well, considering the fact you're about to make a phone call with a remote control, I think you need glasses. So.
Oh, that's fun.
Whatever works, I guess.
Yep.
Hey, to your favorite cup of Joe right here.
I love me a cup of Joe.
Yeah. Hey,
so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this or not.
I don't. I'm about to find out though.
But what does a mermaid wash her tail with?
Oh Lord. What does a mermaid wash her tail with, Mike Carson?
Tide.
Yep.
Come on. I
was officially
I'm hearing a faint giggle in the internet universe out there somewhere.
It's very faint.
It's echoing somewhere. It may not be about this joke, but somewhere. So today we're talking about clear goals and having a strong team and uniting your team with a clear vision.
Clear vision.
So clarity is our theme this week.
That's a great song by John Mayer.
Yeah. Why don't you sing us a few bars?
Yeah, it's too early. Like
no,
clarity.
Enough bad jokes.
It's not good. Yeah, I'm better at dad jokes in the morning. You know, I walked into the eye clinic the other day to pick up my glasses and get things going. And the man said, man, I told the guy, I said, I think my vision is blurry and I may need glasses. And the guy said, oh yeah, you need glasses for sure. I said, how do you know what that actually tested me? He goes, because this is a bank, sir.
Nice.
Oh man.
Joe says, and they also drink ocean spray. See, I would say
that's a good one.
What does a whale drink? Ocean spray.
Okay.
So get it? They spray it out of the top.
Yeah.
The blowhole. Yeah. See, I'm just not hitting all cylinders this morning with the jokes, am I?
Well, you know, nobody makes 2020 vision jokes anymore. I guess they just lost sight of it.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with the vision jokes, Mike. I'm just saying.
I had a great joke about construction, but I'm still working on it.
Still working on it?
Yeah.
But
anyway. Hey, did you hear about the circus fire?
I did not hear about the circus fire.
It was intense.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we better start.
Maybe we should just stop this before everybody stops watching us.
Don't quit our day job, right? I think. Yeah, I do believe we've lost everybody. Yeah.
Probably at this point. I don't know why anybody would stick around and listen to this.
Because it's me and you. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do actually have one more though.
Uh-oh.
Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself?
Why could the bicycle not stand up by itself, Mike Carson?
It was too tired.
You can get some liquid tube and put in the tires and you'll never have a flat again. So that'll help. So
Okay.
There's a local company that was at the vendor show, the expo we went to, and I actually used their product. And to see them at two different vendor shows we've been at now, one was down in, where was that, Louisville, I think, and then they were at this one at St. Louis this past week. And so it's neat to see companies I love success stories from small business owners. There was another cool one, a product called it's Ronin, Ronin, and it's a lift for people. So this was a tree cutters international association was the expo that we had a booth at, and I love the lift thing. It was really awesome. So, and then there was another one called DGP. The guy is bio oil for bar chain oil for chainsaws and stuff. I'm like, what a cool story. So I love hearing the backstories of how people get this little ideal and run with it and then create a national brand. So I interviewed a few of them on my live. So you have to go back and watch it. It's pretty neat. I love stories like that.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see where people come from, see where they're at, but to know where they come from, that's what really matters.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, do you want to pray us in?
Sure.
And then I'll do the verse.
All righty.
All right.
God, I just pray for vision for our lives. I pray that you just speak to us, each individual person today on this and watching this and even on the replay. Just speak to us that our vision would align with yours. And I pray that you just reveal and confirm the plans that you have for us and our businesses. And I just thank you that, you want to speak to us and you want to speak to me. And I just commit to walking out your vision for my life and for my business. And I pray everybody on this has the same prayer. Amen.
Amen, brother. All right. Today, we're going to talk Proverbs 16:3.
Be committed.
Commit to the Lord, whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. This verse, I chose this verse because it emphasizes the importance of committing your actions and plans to God, aligning with the idea of seeking clarity and purpose in your goals and endeavors. So that's why I chose that, along with this theme. So
I like it.
Doesn't mean you're going to get everything all you want, but you should commit all your plans to the Lord.
Yeah.
Or not all your plans. Commit to the Lord, whatever you do, period. And then he establishes your plan. How many times have you made plans of your own and they haven't worked out?
I'm 44 years old now. There's been millions of times, I'm sure, at this point in my life.
Amen to that.
Yeah. All right. So where do we run with this? Because this is a pretty broad topic when it comes to
it is a broad topic.
As you put in the title, clear goals, strong team, uniting your service team with a clear vision. So where does one start, Mike Carson?
You know what? Before we get into this, I want to talk to you about something that's going on that you may not realize, and it's really big.
Chat GPT 4.0?
It is directly related to Chat GPT.
Really? Okay.
So OpenAI, the company that created Chat GPT.
Yeah, that thing.
Here's what's going on right now over there. So the board called the CEO, Sam Altman, to a meeting on Friday and said, we're firing you. Okay. Now this is a big deal. This is
a very big deal.
And even, it doesn't relate to a lot of stuff we're talking about, but it does relate to leadership and how having strong leadership goes a long way. So we, he has this meeting, he gets fired, and then he goes right after that. They have a meeting with the second guy in charge, Greg, and says, you're being fired from your role, but not from the company. You're going to still be working here, but you're not going to be high up in the company, basically, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So Sam's fired and gone, and he's like the face of OpenAI, right? Microsoft is the largest investor in OpenAI. They swoop in. Greg quits. They hire Sam and Greg. And a lot of senior leadership there decides that they're going to follow Sam.
Yeah.
And up to 500 employees decided, this is what's reported anyway, up to 500 employees were going to leave OpenAI and follow Sam. And Microsoft says, hey, we're doing our own AI division. You can lead it, and we'll take your whole team, basically. So OpenAI had already, in 3 days, they had already put in 2 other interim CEOs.
Yeah.
And then they actually said that they were hiring. They had already reached out and hired the ex-Twitch CEO, the ex-CEO of Twitch. So all this happened over the weekend, right? Bam, up until yesterday. Now, OpenAI, this move that the board did, and they didn't tell any of their investors, would have brought OpenAI to its knees. And now they brought Sam Altman back as CEO because there's so many people in the company were going to follow him and leave. And they didn't want to be somewhere he wasn't in charge.
Yeah.
Now, what does that tell you about him as a leader? He was doing something right.
Yeah.
Even though the board may not have seen it. That shows that that company was built off of strong leadership.
Yeah.
Maybe not his alone, but other people that were going to leave as well.
Yeah.
You know, based on this. So I just found that very interesting. When we're talking about clarity, that's a moment of clarity after a decision's been made. That's like, wow, the board should have, really thought of, like, how is this really going to affect us if we do this?
Yeah.
And I guess they found out.
This is an interesting
they hired
one.
him back.
Yeah. After 3 days.
Yeah. And I'm sure Microsoft basically told him, we want him back because we're the biggest investor and you're going to listen to us too.
So the original reason that the board fired him, according to what I'm searching, is not consistently candid in his communications with the board of directors.
Right.
And they lost confidence in him to lead OpenAI. So there's a breakdown between the board and this guy, Altman. So how does he improve that from here on out to make sure that his job is secure and they don't have a crap show like this again,
Yeah. It'll be interesting to watch. And things have changed just over the weekend so dramatically in watching this unfold with the way their entire leadership structure is like at odds right now. Right.
Yeah.
So watching this and watching themselves be very unclear in everything that's happening, and they're changing things, just they're shifting and shifting and shifting. And now they're they busted a big hole in their own boat, and now they're racing to fix it, and plug the leak. So, I mean, I just find it very interesting. I didn't want to totally distract us from what we're going to talk about, but it's relatable.
Yeah.
When you're talking about having some clarity and keeping things moving, I found it very, very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
All right, getting back into things.
Sorry, reading a couple of comments. I don't know. It's interesting. That's for sure. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll have to.
Yeah,
Just like
it
the
is
Bible,
very
when your preacher tells you, go research it yourself.
yeah.
Some
There's a
interesting.
lot going on there,
Yeah,
but I mean
lots to
that's the
unpack.
nutshell that I've read all about it. But
Yeah, I mean, from a small business point of view, I mean, you're talking about a company that is billions, right?
yeah,
With hundreds of employees, team members.
yeah.
So
I
a
mean,
lesson for
supposedly
me,
500 were going to leave. I don't know how many they have, but I
yeah.
didn't even realize it was 500 large.
So when you equate that down to a company that is like a lot of ours, 1 to 4 man trucks, or even I know some appliance companies that are in the couple dozen, area, and with our team we're around a couple dozen. So how do you equate that down to a business that is small, in this instance? For me, my foundation always core values, right? I will say this until the day I die. Since we have incredible core values in our business, we hire by our core values and we fire by our core values. And that's both team members and clients. And I say that very publicly and I say that very humbly because we have had to let some clients go in the past, because of how they treated our team, how they talked to our team. We've had to let some leadership go because how they interacted and treated our team. So I think your core values really define you, and your core values as a business owner, I really believe should line up, or is a good marriage some way with your own personal core values and your business core values. They should be aligned in some form or fashion. Um, it's my opinion on it. Because
No, absolutely. I 100% agree.
yeah, so good core values I think is a good foundation piece for a lot.
I mean, if you're gonna align your team's goals and visions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's got to come from all the way from the bottom straight up to the very top.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise it's not aligned, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pull that string, and the tighter you pull that string, straighter it gets, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
you can grab a hold of each side of that string or a rope, but you go too far, everyone gets pulled different direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this case, communication was a big one. It sounded like, he was not regularly communicating with the board members. They were getting ticked off. I mean, that's what the in many different, just doing a quick search, why did he get fired? Communication, right? So
Yeah.
communication is big.
I mean,
We have,
we're speculating, right? So we don't
yeah.
know if he was a poor communicator.
Well,
Maybe
that's
he just
according
wasn't
to,
the type of
that was,
person that told them what they wanted to hear.
that's according to Twitter.
Yeah,
I mean, that's got to be the
it's
God's
got to be
truth.
true. Yeah, but I mean, we don't know what that means. So
Yeah.
I mean,
But
everything's
still,
vague.
communication is very key, right? Being an EOS company, our business coach is very adamant about us making sure that we have weekly meetings. And if something comes up, then we make sure that we set a time for a meeting. But like we have a C10 meeting that's just myself and Shayna, so the main head gurus, and then we have our L10 meeting, which is our leadership team, and we get together. Those are once a week meetings, and then our HR training manager, she has one-on-one meetings with everybody in the company at least once a week. And those are shorter, like 10-15 minute check-ins, right? Hey, how's it going? What's on your mind? And it's just getting a feel and a temperature for what each individual person is going through. And that way we can potentially see that and head it off before it becomes a major issue, right? So communication is huge.
It is huge. It's but more importantly, like communications of your goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you can
Goals.
communicate all day long, and people still wouldn't know the vision and the goals.
Yeah. Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision down, make it plain for all to see.
There you go.
That scripture has been one that's always been in the back of my head for many years as a child. But yeah, for sure. So how are you? Let's hear some people, maybe get some comments going here. But how are you making your vision plain, for the future, be it the next 90 days or the next year or the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, right?
Yeah. How are you communicating with people you have?
Yeah.
How are you communicating with your spouse even? I mean,
Well,
your
now it's
spouse
even easier.
is somewhat involved, if not fully involved. So how are you communicating internally? If
If
you're a
you're,
one-man show and your spouse is answering your phones or whatever, I mean, how are you communicating,
yeah,
with your own spouse? I've always said that's a show we need to have.
yeah.
Spouses coming on with us and talking.
Shayna.
Spouses you work with. We should have a bunch of people on.
Well, Shayna's literally like 7 feet from me right now. I've moved back into the big office and I'm getting ready to lease out my studio. So I've moved back into the big office and I plan on staying here. And so Shayna right now is literally like 7 feet from me. My desks face her desks. So she's like, yay.
Sorry, Shayna.
I can look at her and smile.
Yeah. While she's just
Don't
rolling
give
her
me the
eyes
finger.
all day
Oh,
long.
she told me I was number one just now. Yeah, literally, no, she went like this. See, she's pointing towards Jesus because she's like, if you don't behave, Jesus is coming after you.
Yeah, you're gonna meet him.
She said Jesus is the only one that can help me. Shoot.
That's funny. So, what else you got?
Boy. Well, time is flying. So
It is flying.
What about motivating the team? Getting them all towards a common goal. I think that's pretty important.
How do you
have a
motivate?
team? I think many people don't realize that you have a team. So tell us about your team. How do you
But
motivate?
our
How do you
our
communicate them?
dynamic is a little different because we all work remote.
Yeah.
I had a local office pre-COVID for a few years, and I hired my local team. And after 2-3 years, I realized it's not really working out,
Yeah.
for my company and for my business being the digital marketing agency. I had a really hard time finding local talent that was really up to the standards and quality that I wanted, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually started letting people go, over a period of time until I just started replacing them with, virtual people around the country.
Yeah.
So my talent pool was able to be a lot bigger. And I had always run my company virtually prior to that. So it was an easy transition for me, but communication was a huge thing when I did that because it's easy to communicate when you're all in one space. It's very easy.
Well, it's easier.
Compared to doing it virtually, it's definitely a lot easier.
Yeah.
And things just communicate faster, right? But you can still pick up the phone, you can still jump on a internet call, or a Zoom meeting and accomplish the same things, but what I have found for me and my team, I had to let go. I really had to let go because I'm a real control freak. I'll be straight up, and I had trust issues.
Mm-hmm.
But once I let go and started, you know what? Not one person is going to have all the trust and access. Is how I figured out how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So I gave one person a certain part of my trust, another person a certain part of my trust, another employee a certain portion of trust,
Yeah.
in the company, to where I was like, okay, You handle a piece of my company, you handle another piece, and you handle another piece. And I'm going to trust that I'm going to oversee you managing pieces of my company and see how it goes. And I'll tell you what, it was the best thing ever because I didn't lay all my eggs in one basket with one person. And because people will fail you every single time. If that's one thing that I've learned in life, in the very few years that I've been here on earth, it's people will fail you every single time, no matter who they are. It's just going to happen, and I'm going to fail people. It's just life, it's nature.
Yeah.
And you have to have a certain level of acceptance with that. Maybe not as much expectation, but acceptance.
Yeah.
And grace along with that. So that's the kind of things that I've had to deal with. What about you?
Oh, wow, that unpacks a lot. I think one thing, oh boy, I know I like your point of view of not putting all your eggs in one basket. I think as the business owner, there's a huge level of trust that we put into our team, right?
Yeah.
But I think as business owners, we need to make sure that we don't lose track of making sure we have our hand somewhat, how to put this, in charge, but don't give one person. Here's a good way to put it.
Well, it's ultimately our responsible. We're responsible for everything.
I talked to several people in our office yesterday because we had one person that was not one person is more important than the other. We are all the backbone of our business, right? Somebody answering the phones is not any more important than Shayna running the entire business. I think that's one thing that a lot of businesses lose track of, is that there's a hierarchy and that one person is more important than the other. If you didn't have everybody in your business doing what they do, you wouldn't have a business. I, as a business owner, cannot do every single position in this company, nor do I want to. I don't have the patience to sit there and talk with hundreds of people every day answering phones. So, but you got to be careful on the level of, I'm lacking the word here, trust. You still got to make sure that you are in charge, of things. And, a good example is passwords. You as the business owner need to make sure you have the username and passwords to everything, every single software you use, every single website that you are a part of, whatever it may be. You as the business owner needs to have that. That's to me, that's a given, because in certain times,
not having keys to the door of your
exactly
office, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's your office. You're paying the rent. You damn well better have the keys.
Yeah,
it's no different. So,
Doug, he's got a good one.
Yeah, let me pop that up.
Doug says, grace with the expectation that people will fail, including yourself, is a great Zen place to be.
It really is. I mean, once you learn how to accept it.
Yeah.
He says, let your process hold everyone accountable. It makes it less personal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, Doug. I think that's excellent. Your processes and procedures are your business's guideline. And yeah, you can vary from them if it's beneficial. When going outside your processes and guidelines becomes non-beneficial or detrimental, it's time to take some action.
I know we're kind of running out of time. Culture to me is a huge one, and that lines up with your core values. And we have another call center that we refer work back and forth to each other, and they take on certain clients and certain types of softwares that we don't, and vice versa. But the biggest thing when talking with Chad and his team is that their culture is horrible, and he'll admit it. because all of their team is remote versus all ours is in-house. So I physically can walk in through the office, in the morning and give fist bumps and high fives and interact. Whereas he has to get on a big Zoom call, and they have a specific Zoom room that's open all day. And so him and his wife sit there. They're another husband wife team. So it's another reason why we kind of like them. But they sit there all day with the Zoom room open. And if there's an issue that comes open, they all pop into the Zoom room. And it's just the challenges. And I get technology is good and is helpful. But man, talk about overcoming a challenge of culture, right? And if your culture is crap in your business, it's going to go everywhere. People are going to see it,
Right.
So
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard being someone in that situation that does things with a remote team. It is hard to build culture.
Yeah.
Between people, but we do get together. We have our team retreats, once to twice a year, depending on what we can afford to do.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have team retreats, go away with your team, and then that's when you can really figure things out.
Yeah.
And kind of get to know each other and figure things out. So
100%. You got to get together. You got to communicate. You got to talk.
Right.
That in-person stuff, that's pretty cool. I like that you do that. There are some companies that don't, and they just don't care.
Right. Well, I mean, like it's really hard to be purposeful about it, and it's like, where do you go and what are we going to do when we get together, and what are we going to talk about? And, you got to have a meeting out of it. It can't all be fun, but it's like, it's a working retreat, and then you add fun elements, and those become your team bonding,
For
team
sure.
building, type. So it works, but it does suck, and there's a lot of phone time.
Yep.
In between. So
whatever you do, always give 100%. Well, unless you're giving blood, don't give 100% there.
Unless you're giving blood. I love it. Although sometimes that I'd like to give that advice to some people.
Yeah. And I guess the other one I will leave you with is seize the moment. And if you can't remember that, just remember all the women on the Titanic who waved off the dessert cart. Yeah.
Bad dad jokes still coming all the way to the end, guys. You know what? You won't hear it on any of the other days with any of the other morning grind hosts.
Yep.
You get the best material right here. I'm just saying.
Motivate, rinse,
and I'm so sorry that you're going to have to wait an entire week before you hear it again from us.
Yeah. Motivate, rinse, and repeat.
Doug,
Zig Ziglar.
I know you're listening, Doug. You got to step up your game on Monday with the dad jokes. Come on. You get in there and you tell some good dad jokes on Monday.
Zig Ziglar has a very famous quote that he used quite often, and that was that people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing, and that's why we recommend it daily. So Keep your motivation on by jumping onto the grind with the Service Alliance Group, folks.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
And you will
handle some business.
You'll elevate your industry.
Our Alliance Business Conference is coming up very fast.
It's gonna be a screen grab later.
Weekend after next, so we got our a week and a half before this conference, so we've got a few seats left. Go ahead and get registered. Be there. If you're on the East Coast, you need to be there. It's cheap enough. If it's within driving distance, get your butt over there. You're gonna meet. We got Brandon from TMM is gonna be there. We're gonna have Mike Sneed from Appliance Boot Camp there. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have Miss Ward is gonna be there, plus the entire Alliance crew, and we really need you to be there. Come and join us. JoJo says that he's going to be there. I did see that you had registered, Joe. Thanks. So, and come and see JoJo. I mean, you see his name pop up almost every day on here. So,
isn't there
come
like
and meet JoJo Kragner?
Chicken finger or something called the JoJo? Get you some JoJos. I forgot what that was. I remember I had some JoJos one time. It was really good. So
it might be a regional thing. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, you reminded when you were doing that little dance thing a little while ago, the old like 70s funk song come burn, baby, burn, disco inferno. Kind of reminded me of that. You know, that's gonna be a screen grab. I'm gonna put Disco Inferno. Anyway.
I can't wait to see it.
Well, next Tuesday morning at 6:30, you know, I'll post it.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.
Have a good one.
Sorry you gotta wait so long for the dad jokes again, but you know, maybe Doug will pull some out on Monday for you, but and I'll talk to the guys about having some good material the rest of the week. So we'll see everybody later.
See ya.
Thanks for joining.